Top out if you want.
Shout out me, my first international that I'm casting technically.
That's what I assume.
There we go.
There you go.
All right, Deos, we'll give a fist bump once you're back in the States. We'll grab some lunch. But let's catch up on the draft so far. Sentinels are going to be on blue side with first pick. And it's Yunara locked
Lulu
in.
is probably what we're getting here, unless they want to try to disjoint it. It feels like the common trade these days is just Corki and Nami. As soon as you see the Yunara come through, people will try to go for a strong 2v2 lane. Of course, there are other options. You can go Lucian lanes, but Corki Nami is kind of becoming the de facto answer to Yunara. I would expect to see Xin Zhao probably first picked, and then Corki or Nami, and then the other one on the next round would be like the most common, I think. So there's the Corki. We'll see if we do get the Xin Zhao, kind of as I'm assuming, as that does feel like the kind of best jungler right now on the patch, or at least one that fits most easily with all the different comps, because it just gives you such powerful frontline. It's good skirmishing, has fast clear, can do objectives. It kind of just can do it all. And right now the game is just about setting up for your bot lane, really, and I feel like Xin does that. I'm a little bit surprised to see the full Corki Nami here, because I feel like you could take the priority jungler, and then just grab your other one on third. They're not going to take the Corki away. They already carry, right? Like if you want, you could just pick the Nami.
Yeah, true.
But that being said, if FURIA does not care which jungler they get, or if they want to have more of an answering pick for Tatu, then this is fine too, right? If you think, all right, I want to see what he plays first, then get more info and pick, that's fine. But sometimes it just does mean that you are going to lose the champion that you were hoping you were going to get. So.
And Tatu, I mean, giving him counterpick can be a way for FURIA to find success. You mentioned that they one of the strongest macro teams in CBLOL last year, and still to this year we see echoes of ThinkCard's impact on the team, specifically through Tatu in the jungle, giving him the ability to pick what he wants into HamBak. We know what Tatu's capable of, and it's going to be Wukong as the answer. Yep,
so Wukong coming through, both teams going pretty standard. It is just kind of engaged jungler plus enchanter support, a scaling AD carry. The bot lane 2v2, I think, in this matchup is always kind of interesting, because Nami Corki really will dominate in short trades. But it's all about the Lulu and Yunara being able to stack passive and being able to get an extended trade. Once you have the Q stacks on Yunara, getting in there, lethal tempo stacks up, you will crush the extended fight. So Nami and Corki have to be able to move in, get those quick pokes down, and be able to just kind of sustain with the Nami heals. But not get locked into a longer fight where Yunara and Lulu are going to find opportunities to try to probably pop ghost, pop heal, use that move speed to try to get extended trades.
Now, Yunara so strong in lane, especially with the Lulu behind you at those early levels, and also can scale pretty well. And it's also one of IU's picks too. So when we talk about the champ pool here in Fearless, IU's already two of his more favored AD carries off the table. He's getting the Corki into that matchup. And now we're going to go ahead and ban some of these solo laners. Neither team have locked one in, so it's Renekton ban from Furia's side, Syndra ban from Sentinel side, respecting Tutz's champ pool as well. Yep. If we want to further ban Tutsz, again, it would be things like the Rise would kind of pop up next in priority, as the Akali was banned in the first round.
Yeah, so Syndra, he hasn't lost on yet this split. He's 5-0 on the pick, and he's 3-1 on the Akali. They are his two most played, so makes sense taking those away. Victor going to be banned out here, which I think makes sense. I mean, it is tied for most played right now for Darkwings, and I always feel like Victor does really well in control mage matchups simply because you kind of outrange, right? You have the laser poke, you have really good push, you scale very well. So it is kind of just a good all-arounder and fits the composition that they're already building here.
Darkwing still has Azir up as his champ pool. That would be like my next high prio for him. And looking at Furia's experience, yeah, Tutsz has not played the Azir yet. I believe only one Talia game. So seems like Darkwings will get something he's comfortable on at the very least, as Furia will get the next choice. It's not gonna be Cassante. Sentinels try and take away one of those safe blind top lane picks. They're going to have to show one of their solo lanes that then can be counterpicked by Sentinels. And based on the hover on screen, I love these over-the-shoulder camera views. We get to see what they're looking at. It's Ahri that they're hovering right now.
Yep.
And Ahri, there it is, locked in.
Ahri is one of his comfort champs, so they are going to be going in towards the Ahri save top for a last pick here. Ahri Wukong is obviously a pretty powerful combo. It's not the kind of same guaranteed level that you have things like Vi Ahri, which you really get that guaranteed dive. That being said, there's not any super tanks on the other side just yet, so I think it can work really, really well. This would be the counter pick that we actually saw brought out in playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. That it was Veigar that he brought out into the Ahri and actually did quite well with it. So Veigar, gonna be cool to see DARKWINGS bring this out. I'm gonna double check, but that is the matchup that I recall him bringing out.
Yeah, I don't recall right now either. So while you're looking that up, I just love to see unique picks. DARKWINGS has always been known for this in NACL. He had a champion Ocean in Tier 2. Coming to Tier 1, it wasn't sure like which would he show us, what's he gonna bring out. And I mean, last year we got things like Malzahar on stage. This year we're getting the Veigar on stage. He's one of the first to pull out.
It was versus the Ahri. Look at that.
Versus the Ahri. Okay.
Brain's still working.
Nice. That's
hasn't
a good
fully deteriorated
right there.
yet.
Well, you had your prune juice? Which one is it? Is it plum or
went
prune?
over. I don't drink juice.
Yeah, but you should. You really should think about your gut biomes, Azael.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important.
You know what you should do? Shut up, buddy.
Oh, wow. You know, you just want to take over the cast. I'll rest my voice. Sorry, it was a long best of 5 yesterday.
I had to do it to you. It was right there. It was right there waiting for me. Ornn going to be the final pick here. Good answer into the Rumble. Pretty standard stuff on both sides. Obviously, a lot more traditional kind of a front line here for FURIA. They are going to have that tanky Ornn up in the front line. And I don't know. I like Sentinels draft a lot more, to be honest with you. I do think it's really, really strong. I think their kite back is good. I think that the Veigar cage is going to be really effective against what FURIA has drafted. It's pretty tough. Like, if you ever get caged in at all, if you ever get locked into some sort of CC there, Veigar can pretty much one-shot Ahri and Wukong and all these types of champs. So.
They got 2 cages. They got the Cataclysm and the Event Horizon. There we go. It's like when you have the dog gate in the both entrances to the kitchen. You're like, no, you're not getting in here. They can't get around. They're protecting Rahel. And he's got the Lulu behind him, too, which is like the dog collar.
So it's kind of the opposite.
Well, yeah, you're kind of tearing apart my analogy here, Azael.
Yeah.
I didn't put that much thought into it.
No, you didn't, clearly.
Well, what purpose do you have for 2 cages? Can you think of a better one?
Yeah, you want to lock them in there. Like
a cage in a cage?
Yeah,
like a box in a box?
Right?
Treasure
chest. Like locking a gorilla,
container.
I want a second cage to make sure if he breaks out of the first,
the backup cage,
that he's not going to tear my arms off.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of it that
scary,
way.
A lion or a tiger or something.
You go to the zoo and they have like an enclosure that they sleep in inside of the enclosure that they're kept in.
I mean, if it's like a cage made out of sticks, I want a big, strong cage around that.
So which is the sticks cage in this analogy? Would that be J4 because you can still dash over it, but Veigar's it's like
Veigar.
You think so?
I don't know.
That one you can't, like, you have to flash
Cataclysm
that
is
one.
made out of rocks and stuff. It looks like it would be durable.
I suppose just aesthetics-wise. Veigar cage isn't that intimidating, but it does stun you, and that's where it gets you.
Yeah.
It gets you. All right, well, now that we've given our cage breakdown, let us know in chat what your analogy for 2 cages would be as we're loading on to the Rift here for a best of 5 in the upper bracket of America's Cup. They do look like wings. What's going on there?
That's kind of cool.
That's kind of like a little smolder.
I'm kind of feeling these little
mini galley with shoulder pads.
Tour of the aesthetics of Summoner's Rift.
Wait, are they wings or are they shoulder pads? Because they also kind of look.
Wings.
You're going wings?
Yeah. Brother looks like he gets sore.
Oh. he's flat. He's mid flap.
Exactly.
That's why one was higher than the other one.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's turning. As FURIA on red side, Sentinels on the blue side. We get the ward down from HamBak to spot out where Tatu is going to be pathing in the early game.
All right, so it is going to be barrier heal on the bot side. So Rahel won't be playing Ghost. Trade of barrier, trade of heals. This is what we see a lot in these matchups. Again, for FURIA, it is about quick trades, and for Sentinels, it is about that extended trade. They want to get lethal tempo stack. They want to look for these kind of rundown plays. Rahel already getting access to wave, getting that passive stacked, and then sometimes when that passive is stacked, you'll see them pop heal aggressively for the move speed and just try to run in and take these really powerful extended trades. So Sentinels is going to get the push and going to be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, the difference for the barrier is that, you're going to be able to survive any ganks a little better, and there is some burst with the Ahri too, so I understand why Rahel would obviously take something like that as opposed to the more aggressive option.
Yeah.
But we'll see if they're able to get that priority in level 2 first spot side. Meanwhile, DARKWINGS, nice dodge of the Orb of Deception right there.
Is DARKWINGS from Darkwing Duck, by the way?
I've never asked him, actually. What's Darkwing Duck?
It was an old cartoon.
That was a
super old cartoon, I think.
How old are you?
I am old. I'm 37.
I've never heard of Dark. I'm gonna Google this. What's
I don't know that I even watched it, but I remember hearing about it. I remember that name has popped in my head. So every time I see DARKWINGS, I think of Darkwing Duck. I think it was before my time. I'm not gonna lie, but
this looks like a Looney Tunes thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I would show it to the stream, but because I'm pretty sure it's Disney, I don't want us to get in trouble.
Yep. You will get fired, but you can show it to the stream if you'd like.
Okay, you know what? Chat, if you ask nice enough, I'll put the career on the line for you.
How nicely. does asking nicely?
50 gifted subs. No, I shouldn't say that.
Whoa. Brother's selling out.
To the LCS channel, of course. Yeah. I want them to get the emotes.
Yeah.
They get the Azael emote then, yeah.
It's a good emote.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Still, I've never actually seen mine. I'm pretty sure it's a bucket. I think I have a bucket on my head.
You don't know what your own emote is.
I've been told it's that, but...
It's a glowing review for the Kangas emote. He's like, I don't even know what it is.
No one uses it. I didn't sub to the channel. That's me outing myself. You know. But even if I had, it's kind of... It's weird to use your own emote, right?
Even if I sub to the channel, I wouldn't use it.
Well, like, do you use your own emote? Are you subbed to the LCS channel?
Of course.
To both? Answer both questions?
Of course.
All right, well, we know what kind of guy Azael is. As right now, HamBak on the bottom side here will spot out that ward.
Supports his local League of Legends league.
It's more the using your own emote was what I was getting at there, but sure.
Why? Yeah, because I'm encouraging people with my great emote to sub to the channel.
Oh, true. I hear actually the majority of people that sub are just there for your emote.
For the Nodders emote, it is very cursed.
Ooh, IU getting big damage onto huhi, and we'll get heal out of him, but huhi can't just walk back to safety.
I mean, Sentinels have
some Nodders in chat for that
wasted both their combat sums, to be honest. I mean, Rahel didn't get much value out of the barrier earlier on his trade. It was kind of just cut it out, and then huhi did have to use his heal. That being said, though, we are up quite a bit of farm, so IU was missing a lot of CS under tower. And Rahel has already gotten back with his cull refillable buy, so he's feeling really good. The barrier is going to be back up, wasn't punished, and they can't really just base right now because the wave's in such a bad spot. So huhi did spend his heal, but was able to hold the wave as a result. And every lane looking really good right now for Sentinels. I mean, mid lane's going pretty well. I mean, it's down a little bit of farm, but trade-wise, looking pretty good.
You're Veigar, you're going to scale anyway. You just want to make sure that you're hitting those minions with your abilities, last hitting to stack up your... what's the name of Veigar passive again? I was blank on the passive. It's like Pool of Evil or something like that.
Something with evil. I can't remember what it is.
Unlimited Evil. I'm just going to go with that. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't think that's true. I'll look it up for you.
But it's infinite stacking, so theoretically unlimited. HamBak right now invading onto Tatu's Raptors. Drops down the control ward. Tatu doesn't have his mid laner behind his back yet, but now Tutsz will show up as the Ahri charm goes wide and Smite is down. HamBak.
Phenomenal Evil Power.
Phenomenal Evil Power.
That is a phenomenal name.
That is, yeah. The Phenom, AJ Styles. Do you know AJ Styles?
I'm assuming it's wrestling.
It is a wrestling thing.
Yes. And you don't watch sports, so I
don't. We just had a whole conversation about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, one day I'll become a WWE commentator. The evil mustache.
So first you're trying to sell out, and now you're already trying to quit working for the LCS.
Yeah, if there's any WWE producers in the chat, you know.
He's like, I will quit right now.
I'll show the Disney logo, and then I'm out.
I'll get the competition stream taken down, and then I will immediately leave my job and go commentate some wrestling.
There's only enough space for
Kangas.
one bald guy.
Appreciate you being here.
Yeah. All right. I feel like it's there's been a couple looks for action early on here. The invade in the mid lane, or the Raptors, the scraps in the bot side, but no full-on sends for any early kills. Now the second scuttle has spawned, so now we might see it. Tutsz spots out HamBak, Flanger drags over the wall, and the rest of FURIA are behind their jungler. So Tatu, he earns it. There we go. The 6-minute scuttle.
Did he earn it, or did his team earn it? Because that was team gap.
Team earned it.
Yep, team earned it.
Team earned it.
Good job, FURIA. Because that was, he had his support and his mid laner both moved over, and that is nicely done. So they're going to be able to get that advantage for them. And now Tatu going to come down here and try to force something. They should know that he could be in the area. Either he's going to be on Dragon or he's looking for a gank, right? You know he's level 6. You know you are weak-sided. Jarvan's top, so they have to play safe, and Tatu's going to be able to get a Dragon.
Yeah.
It's very, very nice getting first Dragon Ocean Drake, especially for tank matchups when you're looking up topside for Guigo. Being able to get that early Ocean Dragon is going to mitigate a lot that Rumble is going to be doing to you.
Yeah, in terms of like the early dragons, it's one of the most efficient just because you can stay in lane longer. Yeah,
I think it's not even close, honestly.
Even the debate.
But yeah, I mean, I think if you can get it right early in the game and have it for a lot of laning phase, it's just so valuable.
Yeah. Suddenly the Rumble poke, the Rumble roast is not going to be hurt nearly as bad, especially when you're able to build your items in lane as the Ornn anyway. So Guido's just going to be unmovable at this point. And just efficient pathing from Tatu, getting the scuttle, and then immediately the drag afterwards. HamBak not able to find as much. Yeah, he was in the mid lane there, but it doesn't look like we actually...
Ahri was recalling, I was seeing on the minimap, and HamBak almost got in range, it looked like.
Number 2 contest? I think the Tatu got that one.
No, HamBak got it.
Oh, he did?
Yep. HamBak, I saw the plus 35.
I saw 2 smites go down, but either way, well-timed. Then that's a double invade.
Assuming that Tatu got it. That's crazy.
Yeah, you know. Oh, Rahel's going in. Transcend oneself for the extra damage, enhance abilities, and pushes back the bot lane of FURIA.
Quiz. What's the W for Yunara?
Kanmei step. No, that's the E, isn't it? That's the E.
All right, buddy, you're fired.
Well, Q is Arc of Judgment, Arc of Ruin. It upgrades as you get it.
Arc of Ruin is the W.
That's the W?
Yep.
Well, there we go.
What are you going to do?
There we go.
No wonder he wants to go commentate some wrestling.
Yeah, you don't have to, remember. Yeah. Maybe on like the PlayStation controller.
That's all you have to remember.
You press the X
he
button.
Punched that guy.
From 2K25.
Wow. Well, I guess they do have their special moves, though.
Well, if you think about it, I did know it. I just didn't know that it was the W, not the Q, as the cage has gone down. Event Horizon. That's that one.
Nailed that one.
Usually people call it Baby Cage.
Yeah, I just call it Cage.
Yeah.
You know.
But it does sound cool. Event Horizon.
It is cool.
It's got a good ring to it. As HamBak's going to look at Tatu taking the grubs, and we'll go forward. And that was smite to HamBak. Yeah, he gets that one.
Yep, but
he's just outsmited back-to-back as now Guigo, called the Forge God use, it lands, but the equalizer from Impact forces out flash of Guigo. FURIA back into the pit as they back away. Sentinels trying the battle line on the top half of the river. FURIA decide to back off, throw up the emotes, and give over the second grub. They got 1, so they denied the 3.
Yep, going to be able to deny that. DARKWINGS pops the spellbook barrier there. I feel like there was an angle for them to fight, but DARKWINGS had a really bad first cage. I think his assumption was they were going to hard engage onto him, so he kind of self-caged as the Ornn was casting ulti, maybe assuming that, oh, they're going to all try to flash on me, so he just puts the cage around himself, but then didn't actually have that for any sort of combat. Either way, though, calm early game, going very well for Sentinels. They are up 1K. Yes, it is Dragon traded on the other side, so that is kind of the cost that they have given up, but very calm game, and that is exactly what you want when you have Veigar versus Ahri, when you have this Yunara Lulu versus the Nami Corki. You are hoping for this kind of a slow-paced, very, very calm game, and I think they're going to be really happy with how things have gone so far.
Yeah, no early kills, but it's still a 1,000 gold lead overall for Sentinels, with that Cole being a lot of it for Rahel in the bottom lane, still stacking that one up. DARKWINGS is falling a little behind. That's 2 waves down now, but again, like the Veigar's gonna scale. You just hit your abilities on unit or enemy champions, and you clear the minions. Last hitting with them, you're gonna stack up just fine. So uses his mana, will go for another reset, and has the TP off cooldown, so he can just get back to lane.
Yeah, Tutsz is doing well in that 1v1. Has created a little bit of an advantage, mostly just the play gold, right? And a lot of that has been earned just by the team play from FURIA, because obviously he moved over there to try to help at the grubs. And then he was kind of zoned off because the FURIA members were between him and mid lane, so that allowed Tutsz to get the push and allowed him to get a little bit of pressure. As HamBak will take some damage, but honestly does not matter at all because he's just going to be recalling after clearing that ward. DARKWINGS now has all the components for his Roa, so going to be trying to get that done here pretty shortly. You can see Impact going Swifties, pretty common tech against Ornn, as Ornn has, you know, really just the slows to peel, and Tutsz doing a good job just dodging as many skill shots as he can in that cage. Really, you're kind of just trying to zone him with the W into Qs, basically, to get those free stacks, and yeah, things looking good.
It's like a mini game whenever you're against a Veigar in lane. It's just like, can I play the bullet hell? Once the cage goes down, try and sidestep as best you can. But Veigar abilities do move pretty slow, especially the W. As now we have HamBak in the top lane here, but Guigo clears out the entire wave, and no dive will come through. Plus, Tatu was nearby, so that would have been a dangerous endeavor regardless.
Yeah, I think it was more just a coverage play. You know, move up there. He was waiting for his camps to respawn. You can see Scuttle's about to spawn, Blue's about to spawn. So he basically had a little bit of time. So you just go up, you make sure, all right, is Wukong here clearing this? Does Impact have to be, you know, worried about a potential gank? So he moves up there, covers him, and allows Impact to get the reset. He's back to the Scuttle as that spawns. He's clearing his camps as they spawn. So efficient pathing there from HamBak, and it's these little things that you always want to see people doing in the jungle, right? You want to see them maximizing efficiency, As first item now through for everyone except Impact. You can see Ardent is done, Kraken's done, Roa completed, Sundered Sky. On the other side, still waiting for a lot of those first item completions, but Tatu and Tutsz both have theirs and are going to be on really, really strong points. Especially, I always feel like once Wukong hits Triforce, you're the strongest person on the map for a while.
It's ridiculous what you're able to do at that point. Yes, he's behind HamBak in the jungle clear, but just the Sundered Sky not going to be the same type of combat stats as this Trinity Forest. But Sentinels do have more numbers right now around the Dragon. They got that priority on the bottom side, and DARKWINGS is pushing in mid, start up the Dragon, but now they're letting DARKWINGS link up.
And upgraded Smite, because Tatu hasn't fully evolved his Smite, so that's actually a pretty big deal here for HamBak, who is going to have the Smite advantage, so would be very hard to steal if there's a contest.
Just turn on to the play instead. The Cataclysm goes down. First blood, the DARKWINGS.
Easy.
Ooh, yeah, I love that. They clear the vision, they're on the Dragon, they bait in FURIA, and then they just turn for the play.
Yeah, it was a really well-placed cage there from DARKWINGS. Tatu tried to clone out. He would have needed to insta-flash. He tried to clone out of the Cataclysm, but he just cloned straight into the cage. Yeah. And as a result, it takes a lot of damage there, and DARKWINGS just running in with the instant exhaust. He wants to make him ult.
Yeah, I mean, DARKWINGS already used the Primordial Burst, so I don't think there's a big chance, or rather the ultimate.
He won't kill him, but he wants him to ult. So if you get caged here, you might actually have to ult if these keep hitting, so.
Takes another Q, is able to dodge W, and goes for the reset. So no ult used, that's good for Tutsz to hold that. Didn't have to flash either, but DARKWINGS is showing that, you know, maybe it's not just about the scaling. He gets the Roa, and he's already putting in work.
I mean, that's honestly a really, really smart play. He knows that your jungler just died. You can see everyone else on the map. There can't be another person here. I have Spellbook to be able to actually just cycle through this exhaust, so I want to get that done anyway. So he just walks on his face, exhausts him, and says, use ult, or maybe I'm going to kill you. In this case, Tutsz has the damage really kind of calculated well. And once he got back to his brush and drops a pink in there, you're kind of like, oh, well, maybe the jungler is back now. I can't keep chasing. So it was smart from DARKWINGS, though. He got first blood, has that injection, going to base now and spend up that gold, and things look good.
Equalizer used onto Tutsz now as we've lane swapped, sending Huhi and Rahel up to the top side. We will have JoJo answer as the Nami just to heal up. And that's a teleport from Impact to go towards the bottom side and answer now this accepted lane swap.
Yeah, a bit of an ambitious ult, I will say. Because if I'm FURIA now, you know Rumble has no equalizer, so if you wanted to look for an aggressive play, there is always that opportunity. We can see, though, that Tatu is just clearing bot to top, so nothing is really going to come from that. Just sometimes that is your defense against a potential dive, so that is always something you have to be a little bit worried about, and DARKWINGS now has the upgraded Lucidity boots, got an extra Fiendish Codex on top, so picking up a ton of CDR now, and it's just going to get more and more annoying.
Another cage goes down. Oh, HamBak didn't actually want it. I thought that they would go for the all-in now that Primordial Burst is back up for DARKWINGS, but wise because Tatu was also in that line brush on the top river.
Yep, they didn't know exactly where the jungler was, so they're not going to full send it. That would have gone really bad for them, and DARKWINGS just got hit by about 10 rockets in a row.
Yeah, that was a lot.
So also worth noting the skill order here from DARKWINGS. I'm going to be curious to see where he goes from here. Sometimes people put a couple points in W, and then they'll start maxing cage. Sometimes people full max W after Q, but already has 3 points in the cage. It increases the stun duration, reduces the cooldown, so it is really actually quite nice.
Oh, what a play from FURIA! They had a ward in the brush. Tatu using the Warrior Trickster to get in there unseen. And then they just blow up Huhi.
This is good, but you did spend your Cyclone now. So there's a possibility that they could actually fight here, even though they are down a member. We'll see if they can delay it enough that Huhi can get up here.
They still have Spirit Rush and they still have Tidal Wave. So two pretty impactful ultimates available as HamBak walks back. DARKWINGS throws out the event horizon. IU stuck in there, but takes no damage. So FURIA, they get the pick. Bubble lands, and HamBak has to flag and drag back as IU jumps in. Cataclysm, not enough to turn the play, but it is enough to buy time for DARKWINGS. Will get one back, as it's a trade of 1-for-1 after the Herald's taken. Now Rahel's the focus on the top side. Tatu doesn't have the Cyclone from the earlier play, so he's able to get out, and he's got Huhi to help him out.
Yeah, if that Arc of Ruin hit, I think you might get flashed off Tatu, or potentially even more. So pretty lucky that Rahel did actually miss that. At the end of the day, you basically went support and Herald for the kill there on the other side, but the fact that DARKWINGS gets another kill is honestly really good for him. Yeah. I do not think that was worth it for IU at all. He goes in and ends up giving his life and the barrier to kill off the jungler when you already kind of had it secured, so I think he went a little too far. Here's that initial engage one more time. It's just a good play. They catch huhi on vision, are able to get that kill, and then I just think IU going a bit too far. You know, once you've gotten the chunk, that's great, but the fact that he's primal burst up means you're pretty likely to go down there, and it's a bit of a costly kill, right? Like, you've already kind of earned that objective, so I didn't feel like they needed to go for that, but it's not bad by any means. I just think it's not as good as it maybe could have been. Yeah,
and Veigar abilities have pretty long cooldowns early game, but once you get enough CDR, like his W's up pretty often, so you saw that I was able to dodge the first one, not the second one, as now 2-0-0 on the Veigar. This was the counter pick that he played earlier on in LCS into the Ahri, and it's working again here. Yep, it's working really, really well. I mean, it's just so annoying dealing with the cage. So you can see he stopped at 3 points E, so now he's maxing out W. Okay. So he's going to be going for that. Obviously has this skill elixir as well to get the extra skill point in because he did go for that. So going to be able to really kind of ramp that up. W's cooldown scales obviously with rank, but also scales with AP. So every 100 AP you get, you know, it does reduce the cooldown with that passive. Okay, that's cool. So it gets really short cooldown late game when you have Death Cap and you have a ton of AP from that passive. And just 500 AP, from just boom, farming. Boom, boom, boom. They start just raining down. So they're going to have to play well around cage. I mean, Veigar, there's these kind of like brief windows where he's very vulnerable when he does not have cage, but if you are not playing well around it, it is so difficult. You can easily get caged in if you're stepping too far forward, and then you are basically forced to flash or just die. Sentinels currently are on the Dragon. FURIA dropped the Herald in the mid lane as a response. They got that first Dragon, but now it's 2 in a row for Sentinels. FURIA will trade it for gold on the map instead. A lot of gold, honestly. I think this was bad for Sentinels, really bad, because you get the Dragon, but you gave first tower gold, you gave the plates from that, Ornn's farming plates top, and you got a second charge mid, so you got plates there. We were up 2.5k, it's now a 600 lead. Like, this was, to me, a horrendous play. Ooh. This is one of those things where you basically, you got a Dragon, but you gave your entire gold lead practically to get it, so I feel like they super overcommitted to that Dragon. Maybe their read is that FURIA is for sure going to come contest and we'll just beat them in a fight, which may have been correct, but when they have Herald, you can't trade like that. I just feel like they could have done it a little bit more conservatively, and we'll see. I mean, if they get Soul, obviously it ends up being worthwhile, but yeah. Tutsz was also even able to catch that bot wave, so nothing was denied from FURIA. Everything was gained instead. And I love that that was a macro play from FURIA, the team that we were highlighting, had the best macro in CBLOL last year and again this year, and they're showing us some of that on stage here in America's Cup. Yep. Crypt Bloom going to be done for DARKWINGS, so that is the only item with 2 Fiendish Codexes, so you kind of knew he was going that direction. And clearly just emphasizing getting a ton of CDR, really wants to have a low cage cooldown, and you are going to need Magic Pen when it's double AP soul laners. There's a Kanik over on the other side. You know, you're going to need that eventually, so he's just getting it early. We'll see where he wants to go next. He does have an Amp Tome. It might be like Zhonya's or something to try to absorb the dive, as Impact probably should just equalize the wave, but he doesn't have it, so never mind. Yeah, not going to be able to do that, so instead huhi will walk from behind, back him up, HamBak as well, so FURIA back off. A short window there where maybe they could have looked for a dive, but Sentinels will back up Impact, make sure he gets the wave, as Rahel still in the mid lane getting this wave, DARKWINGS now in the top lane getting that wave into Guigo. He's got so much magic resist. FURIA still in the jungle, but will back off now. As the game goes later and later, this Veigar will just get stronger and stronger. I actually really like Sentinels in a kind of even to ahead game state as the game progresses, because you know, Veigar will just hit critical mass at some point. Yeah, and I think the same is kind of true of Yunara. Obviously, there's good scaling on the other side as well. You have good engage tools. You're going to have ornaments that are going to be coming through that are additional gold, so there is power there. And putting DARKWINGS against the Ornn is not to pressure the Ornn, it's basically just to farm stacks. Yeah. Because it's really easy when you are playing against a melee champion like the Ornn, just every time he's walking up to that wave, you can just farm stacks off of him, you can get more and more free AP. Whereas, you know, in range versus range matchups, it's a little bit more difficult to hit. And of course, the Ahri has a bit more threat. So just going to be playing that out. And DARKWINGS actually sold his Amp Tome, so he's going to be going Death Cap next, I'm assuming, which is what I really like. I feel like when you have a slow game like this, you want to get the most. Oh, charm in from Tutsz, almost one-shots huhi as he's waiting in the brush. Now spots out HamBak. DARKWINGS throws down the cage to help out with the retreat. And HamBak will flag and drag out of there. Huhi almost just died, had to use the heal and the wild growth.
Yep, gonna use that heal, the wild growth, the shield, everything does come through, but he does survive, so gonna be pretty happy about that at the end of the day. And you need Ahri to be ahead. You know, this is kind of that difference is Ahri, when she's really accelerated, has the damage to get those kills, has the damage to get those resets, and that can be pretty threatening. But it can be difficult for Ahri in a more even game state to actually be able to kind of hit that critical mass where she can get kills. Because if you can't one-shot the Lulu, you can't one-shot anyone on the map right now. Of course, in a team fight, there's going to be the Cyclone damage. There's going to be a lot more coming in on top. So he's still threatening, but I am a bit worried for FURIA at this game pace, and I feel like they're getting a bit worried too. So I think we're going to see them start trying to force more fights. I definitely expect them to challenge the next dragon.
They're the one pressure to make action happen. As Tutsz uses the rocket belt right there to get away. Also, I'm shotgunning myself. I just got a notification on my phone. I was gifted a sub to the LCS channel, so now I have access to the emotes. Let's go.
Why would you give this guy a sub? He's already told us he's leaving.
No,
He's gonna go join WWE.
Now I'm sticking around as, Primordial Burst almost enough to kill Tutsz there. Not quite enough. But it's about sending the message. I think message delivered, received.
The message is go back to base, I'm taking your tower.
Yeah.
And that is a good message for Sentinels. This is going to be a nice lead here. Over 1K up now for DARKWINGS. We'll see if he has enough for another large rod here, as he's got to get back to base anyway, so the timing is good. He'll have his ult by the time the dragon spawns. So everything good as far as that is concerned, but same thing is true for FURIA. It's going to be like a 10 summoner fight, all ultis, everything is going to be available. Yeah. I do expect both teams to want to scrap for this, so vision becomes really, really important. And right now, FURIA are the ones that are dominating the vision in that area. So Sentinels either have to try to get in, move in together as a team, which looks like they want to try to do through bot lane. But that means DARKWINGS is going to be very split. So he'll have to join them with a TP very likely.
Yeah,
and be careful not get caught.
And he's like all the lead for Sentinels. He is the gold lead individually, and he's the 2-level lead over his mid lane opponent. So if DARKWINGS isn't there, it's a very different looking fight compared to when he is able to front to back. Tutsz is just zoning him off. Rahel's able to get that bottom turret as now the TP comes in from DARKWINGS. Dragon's at about half health. Tutsz will now need to rejoin FURIA as Ayu's peppering into HamBak. The cage landed onto Ayu. Hit everybody onto the AD carry, but they didn't kill him fast enough. He actually survives through it all. Cyclone from Tatu pushes back Impact. The Dragon smited FURIA. They keep their AD carry alive, they kill Sentinel's jungler, and they get the dragon.
Yeah, they're going to go Baron, though. That's the real problem here. That went so bad for Sentinels. They got that cage on a Corki, but it felt like they just didn't fully commit in to actually kill him off. And Rahel didn't even pop ulti. DARKWINGS didn't pop ulti, right? Like, that should be a kill. That should be a kill for sure. And Sentinels have built a really good early game lead and then completely bungled it in the team fight. I kind of want to see it again if that was just the peel that came through didn't allow them to get the follow-up or what actually happened, because I feel like as soon as Corki is caged, yeah, he has barrier, yeah, there's going to be some heals and stuff coming through, but I feel like he should be dead 10 times out of 10, and I think they should have committed for that. But FURIA, I guess, was just good enough with the counter engage. They end up winning the fight, get the dragon, they're going to get the Baron as well, so let's watch this again.
Yes. So who is in range to follow this up? Because I imagine that they should have had enough if everyone was ready for it.
I mean, this is a big mistake from Ayu. He's going too far forward. DARKWINGS steps up. There's the cage. Oh, we're back to life.
It looks like huhi might be caught out now as he drops down. And, well, yeah, I mean, Tatu just gets him. Polymorph's not enough to keep you alive when there's 2 enemies on top of you, and huhi in a rough position. That's Baron, and another pick now called the Forge God used by Guigo, continuing the engage onto Impact, but Sentinel's top laner gets back further enough into the jungle that he's safe.
Yep, Ayu's going to be able to farm this tower on bot side, so going to be more gold going their way. The gold lead now going to be completely gone, basically for Sentinels, so pretty big mistake from them, and that is the tough thing about League, is you can spend 20 minutes making all the right plays, building an advantage, but you misstep in those key moments, and it's all gone.
That's all that you're going to be remembered for, as well as Tutsz hit by the equalizer, and now it's Sentinels time to find a pick. Shutdown credit goes over to Rahel on the board with the kill. We need some more of that from Sentinels.
Well, and that's going to kind of effectively kill a lot of the Baron power play here, right? So that's going to really slow them down. Someone needs to get up there and answer Guigo, but this will delay them quite a lot. They knew Tutsz had used his ulti on the top side, so going to be able to chase him down. They decide to commit to it, and he decides, you know what, I'm going to hold on to the flash. I'm kind of surrounded here. I'm probably dead regardless. Rahel grabbing that shutdown is great, but Sentinels still, you know, in a pretty good spot here. Now that it's level 17, ornaments are going to be coming in really pretty much across the board. You can see 3 are already there. He has his own Candy Crooker, and we have the upgraded Cleaver, the upgraded Muramana as well for Corki. So, you know, another 1,000 plus or so of stats.
Oh, huhi. Again, in Furia's jungle, yeah, he's got Impact behind him, but he's getting cut off by JoJo right now, and Call to Port got as well. Impact might just be punished for huhi's mistakes. In fact, it will be huhi that goes down. Impact will try and escape back, throws down the equalizer, hit by the bubble, the tidal wave, chain knocked up,
Yikes.
and Guigo gets that kill. Huhi again getting caught out in Furia territory.
Yeah, I mean, huhi's just trying to play for Vision by himself, which is such a risky game anyway, but you're playing Lulu. It's not like you're on Rakan or something who can just jump over the wall. So
you ain't barred.
No, he is being very risky and getting punished for it. So good job by Furia. Some poor play here from huhi for sure. He's just kind of wandering in, and when you wander in blind like that, I mean, there's the teleport coming in, so he felt like, oh, I'm supported by Impact. I can walk into the jungle here, but Guigo TP's in. Impact tries to kind of support him, but I feel like Impact should have just ran out through bot and kind of just saved himself. I think you kind of have to take the L that your support is dead, because if it's just the Lulu death, it doesn't really matter that much, but giving over 2 kills is definitely a lot more costly. So big mistake there from huhi, and Sentinels pay for it.
And Wukong's able to lock 1 unit down for long enough to call the Forge God is a long-range follow-up. Tidal Wave is the long-range follow-up. Like, it's just dangerous for an Enchanter to be in that position at any stage of the game.
Death Cap done for DARKWINGS, so that is huge. Yeah. Death Cap, always a really big spike, obviously, but it is much bigger when you are playing for Veigar because it's amping your passive stacks. So we can't quite see his passive stacks, so 361. So he's a ton. He actually has a lot of passive stacks.
That's a lot.
And then you're getting 30% more of that on top. So just the passive from the Death Cap is giving him over 100 extra AP, basically.
He's 88 AP. That's what I saw on the bottom left, right. Or 880, sorry, AP.
I was going to say, it's 360 for his passive.
A little too low. 880 AP. So he's going to hit 1,000 this game, almost guaranteed. Unless the game ends very soon, which it is up to Furia to end it. They've gotten a couple of picks here. Now they're invading onto Sentinels jungle, so they're getting somewhat of a lead, but it's still even gold, even dragons. This is not where you would want the Ahri Wukong comp to be at this point in the game.
No, I agree. They do have a big advantage with the front line, though. Guigo is going to be by far the tankiest person on the map. It's not even close. And Sentinels have to play these fights out smart. I don't think it's just like a pure outscale, front to back type thing. You have to be able to actually just hit front line and play it slow. If HamBak dives in, he's going to get focused down and burst down. Like, he is not that tanky. So it's more of these kind of fights, I feel like, where Jarvan has to just ult in, then flag and drag out, and you're all just kiting back with the Lulu, with the cages, and trying to kill frontline.
And Sentinels are setting up for that fight. HamBak already pokes down. The Corki rockets are landing. Guigo is able to avoid that cage. So now Furia just not giving the opportunity for the seal call. The Forge God used, and it is secured as Tatu will get the dragon, and now goes over the wall for the Cyclone engage on the HamBak, pushing him out from the fight.
Rahel.
Meanwhile, Impact finds some space. Rahel unleashed. Nobody on him, just the Ornn with the Lulu empowering as Yunara gets bubbled at the very end, but will still pick up one. Furia get the dragon, but will lose a member.
Yeah, they are going to be able to knock down 2 members because they killed both the soul laners there. So they killed off Tutsz as well as Guigo. And Rahel starting to hurt. He is going to be doing quite a bit of damage at this point. But again, good job by Furia, utilizing their ults to create space for Tatu to guarantee the dragon. So now, because, they bungled that previous fight, even though they win this fight, it's sole point. So I like the timing here. They just throw out the Ornn ulti, they throw down the Nami wave, they say, HamBak, you cannot approach, you will just die. Tatu flashes in, but look at Rahel here. As soon as Tutsz goes forward, he went a little bit too far. And he gets focused down there by Rahel and DARKWINGS. Burst out, and then they're able to take down the other solo laner. If Rahel doesn't get bubbled here, or if he hits the Arc of Ruin, I think they killed JoJo and maybe even IU as well, because IU had no flash, so lucky that they weren't able to get that chase down and kill. That is kind of how Sentinels want to play out these fights, but Cloud Soul is going to make things a lot more difficult.
Very close moment. Ooh, close moment there as well.
And he's not spotted. This could be pretty scary.
He's also got the spell shield from the Banshee's Veil, so Sentinels, huhi will now see him and gets charmed up yet again. A chunk onto the Lulu as Call the Forge God is used. Oh, too early as he gets stunned up before the second cast hit, but still lands a knockup here on the DARKWINGS. The Veigar's down as it's going to be up to the AD carry Rahel on Yunara. Maybe can make magic happen, but they just lost 2, top lane and mid lane. I guess you don't need the Ornn ultimate. They're gonna stand next to a wall.
Yeah, he tried to activate it, but he was too close to the cage. He needed to kind of back up more so he could actually have the timing to be able to hit it, because the R2 threw him right into the cage, got stunned. They're going to get Baron again, though. So, well done by FURIA. They knew that there was no flash on Veigar. He used it on the previous fight by that Ornn ult, so they're able to punish here. I want to see if Impact had his Zhonya's available, because I feel like he did, and I think he just kind of died without using it. Because this is one of these situations where if they full send it on Darkwings like that and everyone is stacked on top, if you have a good equalizer, if you go into the stasis, you're creating space for Rahel, it's still like a possibility for one fight, because Rahel did have his Seekers, was able to use that. So I felt like there should have been an angle for them to maybe be able to win there anyway, but Sentinels get punished. It was a great angle from Tutsz. He gets behind them and they get punished.
Felt a little bit like a panic fight. Like, those are moments where huhi's getting charmed. I don't know what comm sounded like in that moment, but he's probably calling, oh, Ahri's up here, while the Ornn's ulting, while everyone's trying to kite back and get away from FURIA's engage. So just a chaotic moment right there. But FURIA, it's still not a gold lead, but they keep finding these advantages, regardless of the fact that the gold's been even. Regardless of the fact that Sentinels still have a scaling mid laner, FURIA are getting these dragons, they're getting these barons, and now with their second baron power play, let's see how much more they're able to get. Last time it was only about a 1.5k total lead that they got from it, not that big. But
it's just Soul. I mean, honestly, Soul is what matters now. They're not going to end the game here unless Sentinels really troll. So
Call the Forge God this time on Impact. He has the Zhonya's this time around. Guigo would tank up a shirt shot and then back off. So.
Yeah. We're going to lose some plates. We're going to be down a bit in gold, but it's just all about the soul fight, right? And Sentinels, because they have a little bit of difficulty in how they're playing out this fight, I mean, you have Engage with HamBak, but if HamBak full sends it in the middle of the team, he's going to instantly die, so it's not the way to play it out. So Sentinels do need to be first to the dragon. They need to make FURIA walk in through cages and through all of that threat that they have. The Guardian Angel getting completed for HamBak might change things a little bit, but that is the difficulty, is they just haven't been able to even really have a smite fight, because HamBak is getting zoned out by Ornn ult and Nami ult every single time, and I do think the game is going to come down to Soul. Can you actually prevent them from getting Cloud Soul? Because Cloud Soul is really powerful, just period. Like, the move speed is very, very difficult to deal with. But it's even more powerful on champions that utilize the move speed burst during their ult so well. Like Tatu, his Cyclone getting super move speed, the Ahri all getting super move speed, even Corki being able to throw out a rocket and get that burst of move speed is really, really nice. It means it's so hard to actually get anyone stuck in cages.
And IU's been landing these rockets as well. So usually before the fight even starts, one member of Sentinels is going to be half health. As FURIA are setting up for the dragon, it's up in 15 seconds. Sentinels look like they're going to approach from the bottom side.
This is big though. Rahel just finished his IE. We just got GA.
We just found Tutsz alone in the bottom side. Now the rest of FURIA are coming in. Call the Forge God is used. Will land on Rahel, but nobody else. Tutsz does get out of there.
But no ult. So that's actually pretty rough for him. We'll see if they can still take the fight anyway. They have to be careful. He has one last charge. Does not find anything with it. HamBak, though, is just taking way too much damage for free. Like,
yeah, Giga poked out. Now it's going to come down to Tatu, who still has a Cyclone engage. Impact will try and watch him. The Wukong is on the flank as IU still just focused down on HamBak into the GA. Flash away from IU, but Darkwings got him! The Flash Primordial Burst follow-up. Cage onto Guigo. The big carry on FURIA has been
still
dealt
here.
with.
He might try to actually steal this. He still has Cyclone, so they know he's over there. They need to keep him away.
Last cone. He can take it in. Dragon's still half health, though, so a little early from FURIA's jungler. Sentinels stopped hitting the dragon. They're focused on Tatu. The cage goes down again. It's hit the clone that's hit as Tatu was able to get out of that one. Rahel jumping forward. Now turning onto the dragon. Tatu looking for it. He got it! Tatu with the dragon steal. He's shut down, but that's soul for FURIA.
Oh man, that's so brutal. And now Impact's probably going to get chased down here. I mean, now they have Cloud Soul movement speed. You're not going to be able to run away.
Flash. I think he might be fine. Yeah, the cage will keep him alive. But that is tough. They were not able to lock down Tatu.
I mean, they just need to commit for the fight. I feel like they're trolling. Like, after you kill IU, stop hitting the dragon. Just fight them. You have a 5v4. They have no AD carry. And I feel like they just, I don't know, they bungled that pretty hard. That's a really poor finish to that fight. You know, the initial play, I think, is pretty good. I will say HamBak, I think, played that whole sequence very poorly, though. He was just kind of standing in the face of IU. Took so much damage before. Yeah, you have GA, but you don't want to just die for free.
No.
And then by the time he goes in, his Cataclysm didn't even pass because he died mid-air. Yeah, so the cage doesn't even come down. And then you have a 5v4. just push on them. Like, push them out, right? You know, be able to actually flex on them a bit there. They seemed so nervous when I don't feel like FURIA has the damage to win a fight or even close to without IU. So I feel like they really misplayed that. They should have been able to got the Dragon. It should be 3-3, but instead you've given over Cloud Soul. Even though you're 3K up and you have good scaling, Cloud Soul does more than negate that. So they are behind, and they'll have to see if they can figure out a way to win this regardless. It's just going to be so hard to actually get anyone caught in cage, I feel like, anymore.
I know, yeah. I mean, you were already talking, like, Corki can just spam ult and then use the movement speed perma.
Well, there is a cooldown on the like activation of it, so you're not going to get on every rocket, but you do always get the flat move speed that you gain from Cloud Soul, and then I can't remember what the cooldown is. I don't know, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever it is. You get a burst of move speed when you ult as well.
Okay, fair enough. Well, still just the base movement speed at least being able to help you get around there. Yeah. And now FURIA, they don't have the gold lead, but they have the stats from the Dragons, and they have the ability to snap engage with their Wukong. So let's see if they're able to find those Sentinels currently setting up around the Baron, spawning in 20 seconds.
They also have GA advantage now because HamBak, his was used, and Tatu just bought one. So Tatu has a fresh GA. If he gets a flank here, it could just be lights out. I feel like Sentinels...
Not spotted. Yeah, Impact just walks past.
Yeah, they have to be very careful. If Rahel walks the wrong way, he could be dead.
Impact could be the target right now. I mean, he's completely alone here. Tatu very patient as the Call to Forge God will land. And Tatu chains the cycle, and Impact goes into the zone of stasis. And the Wild Growth keeps him alive. Oh, barely gets out of there.
But now they're going to go Baron, right? Because he used Flash, Equalizer, Zhonya's, Wild Growth.
Equalizer's still up. He has the TP, and the Call to Forge God was used. The Cyclone was used. So I actually think Sentinels have a window here because Impact didn't die that they can stop FURIA. Yeah, FURIA are not going to go straight for the Baron.
Yeah, I thought he had used the Equalizer, but not having used it completely changes that, obviously.
Charm on a HamBak, again getting poked out. He flagging drags forward. Not going to get chunked any more past that. IU's not landing these rockets yet. HamBak still about half health as FURIA will decide to just back off.
Yeah, going to be able to back off. So Sentinel should be able to move in and try to clear out a bit of vision here. They really want to deny vision in this area, but you don't really want a fully committed fight until HamBak has his GA back, so still have a bit to wait. Yeah, losing your flash sucks on Rumble, but not the end of the world.
Looks like about 30 seconds probably for HamBak's GA. It's the last little tick coming up here, so...
Yep.
Yeah, if they can wait that out, and again, gives DARKWINGS a little more time to keep farming up 5 items on Veigar. Like, he's at that moment. He's got to be over, like, 1,200 AP at this point.
He's full build, so he is really, really strong. Rahel's getting there, too. The one-shot is going to be a bit harder because there's Mikhail's, there's Hex Drinker on IU, there's Barrier, and there's Heal, and there's a Locket now on Guigo. So they have a lot of tools to actually keep them safe, which I think is really, really smart. At this point, your individual tankiness is pretty much irrelevant for Guigo, like in the super late game. So you're tanky enough. I think he should just go Locket's Knife Bow. You know, these kind of late game items are much more valuable to just keep your carry alive because IU living for another couple seconds or living period is so much more valuable than you being slightly more tanky individually at this point. So I always love when Ornn's kind of make that pivot late game, and IU just completed his Maw, so he's even more tanky against that one shot now for DARKWINGS. But eventually, you will just hit so much AP that nothing matters. And because FURIA haven't dealt game-ending damage with the Soul, now we're just kind of looking at an Elder fight, right? And it just comes down, again, to one potential fight here.
I mean, Elder or the Baron right now.
Yep.
FURIA are teleporting Guigo into the pit, and Sentinels will have to find a way to answer. Right now, Rahel's in the mid-wave, shoving that one out. FURIA have the Dragon to 12K. Still hitting it, not immediately bursting it down though. Sentinels will now go for the approach. Tatu finds the engage here on the Impact. Still has the stasis. Call the Forge God will land. Tidal Wave follow-up. Impact is down, and FURIA are running away with the team fight. Double kill to IU. Rahel does not have the space to work with. Guigo is too tanky, and Rahel just cannot get through that health bar. FURIA show up at the Baron, and they'll get a clean ace on a Sentinel, 0 for 5.
Well played by FURIA. They're going to be able to take this down. I mean, Sentinels were so stacked. Their entrance to that fight is just about as bad as it could be.
Yeah.
I mean, you have DARKWINGS stacked directly on top of HamBak, who's stacked directly on top of Impact. They walk in, DARKWINGS dies, not using Flash, not using Zhonya's. it's a rough end to the game where they had really good shots to take this.
Yeah.
But FURIA in the big moments, they straight up outplayed them.
Tatu finds the engage. Tatu found all the dragons. FURIA find a game 1 win in this best of 5 and strike first in the upper bracket in America's Cup.
Yep, well done. They just find that explosive engage. They were not connected to their bot lane either, so Rahel can't even really get involved in that fight. You want to be set up in a way.
Yeah,
she's excited. She's excited. You want to be set up in a way where if they're going to full send it on your Veigar, they have to do it through the other members, and Rahel is hitting back, right? So I'm going to go over. I want to watch that fight.
Yeah, Azael will go take a look at that. I want to talk about who I would say is front runner. I think Tatu just controlled that entire game. And when we're talking about player of the game, I'll also credit to IU for doing the damage for landing those rockets. But Tatu's control over the jungle, his patience, finding that almost pick out of impact, which then meant that he didn't have to flash and they were able to set up at the Baron a little more efficiently. Great stuff from Tatu. But Azael, what do we want to take a look at here with the replays?
I mean, it's the Baron fight, the last Baron fight. We got to watch how this actually decided the game. And I just think it's really kind of lazy the way that Sentinels are approaching this. I mean, they didn't know exactly when the Baron was going to be going down, but honestly, you've already lived through a couple of Baron pushes. I don't think Baron really matters that much at this point of the game. You could have probably just waited for Elder if you don't think you have a good chance of this. So we'll look at it from Sentinel's POV, right? So they know that Ahri's in the brush. They've spotted him there, right? They just spotted him. DARKWINGS is able to see it. Now they've flagged the Baron. So now you have your information. You're like, all right, it's about 13,000 health on the Baron. You know that the Ahri is playing right around this spot. So you need to get these guys all joined up, right? You want HamBak walking in first because he has his GA back. You want DARKWINGS and Rahel behind. You want impact around him. But what's going to happen here is they just get a little bit antsy, I feel like. DARKWINGS keeps walking up and trying to poke. Look where Rahel is. Why are we posturing for a fight when Rahel has gone mid-wave? I think Rahel is actually, like, what he's doing here is probably fine.
But the team needs to be prepared for it. Either he needs to be with them or they need to not be where they are.
You can call for either way, but I think given that you still see it and it's 12,000 health, you don't really need to rush the play.
Yeah.
So we're going to go for it.
And then Tatu, I think, is in the line brush, right? I think he snuck into the line brush during this because if I remember correctly, he's the one that finds the engage. Yeah, so they have no idea Tatu's there.
Yeah, and this is fine if DARKWINGS is back here with Rahel and you get your front line engaged on. Now imagine they're going for this engage and Rahel is standing right here with huhi and DARKWINGS is standing right here. Cage gets dropped immediately. You're just getting roasted by the two carries, right? It's a very different fight, but instead, Impact is caught out. How is Rahel supposed to even join this? And DARKWINGS, as well as HamBak, are completely stacked on top of Impact. And, you know, the fight is already done, right? So DARKWINGS is going to get just complete bounce house. He's knocked up. DARKWINGS is knocked up, and he is just completely CC'd, 100-0. Rahel just now starts joining the fight when the game is already over. GA is popped. Impact and DARKWINGS are both dead. And to me, this is, again, just really poorly done as far as the setup of the fight. The execution of the fight is irrelevant because you lost it before the fight started. So I just think that is a really disappointing way to see Sentinels lose that game, where I feel like if you have the correct battle lines and Rahel is there, DARKWINGS is behind, they engage on Impact, all of a sudden Wukong, Ahri are both caged in, and your carries can one-shot them. At this point in the game, I mean, how much AP did DARKWINGS have? Let's check.
Yeah, it had to have been like 1,200 or something.
1,208.
Yeah. So,
you know, the chat is kind of like wild. I wonder if I can even drag that. I guess I can. But you can still see, so between 1,220 and 462 damage just with the ulti. And then one Q is over 1,000. One W is 1,600 damage.
A WQ would probably just kill Tutsz.
Yeah. Or at the very least, you put him to basically no health, right? Yeah. I mean, he has MR, but like WQ and some ambient damage kills you.
Sure.
QR is pretty much a one-shot on a carry, or they're out of a fight and they use barrier and everything. Yeah. So it's a sad end to the game for Sentinels. I feel like they played most of it quite well, but pretty disappointing stuff. I believe we either have comms listening or the PGB?
I believe we're going to take a look at the post-game breakdown here. As thank you, Azael, for that breakdown. Unfortunately, Sentinels stacked like Legos, and FURIA knocked down the tower. Big damage from Tutsz in the mid lane. Big damage from IU as well. And just well played, well executed late game team fights. It wasn't just that one. There were a couple other moments leading up to that where FURIA were able to get, you know, better positioned fights. We saw HamBak in that earlier play around the Dragon also kind of having some panic engages and just not finding the right avenue in. So, yeah, this is not the Sentinels I expected to see. They looked much more calm and collected in their first series versus Red. And now it seems like they just, I don't know, maybe they lost some of that mojo, some of the confidence.
I feel like they played pretty calm and collected for 90% of the game. I just think they just failed in those big moments, which I would say to me kind of is what I thought were the strengths and weaknesses of Sentinels. Like I feel like, you know, when we were talking about HamBak before the game, you know, I was saying I think his early game is really good. Sometimes his mid and late game decision making is poor. Yeah. And I think that kind of showcased here. Losing the GA for free at the earlier Dragon fight, you know, stepping way too far forward, letting IU just kind of free hit you. Then obviously the setup here, it's just a panic moment, right? For a lot of these players, they are going to feel that pressure. Obviously, huhi and Impact have a tremendous amount of playoff experience. DARKWINGS and HamBak and Rahel have a lot less. Yeah. And I think in these moments, they just kind of panicked and they didn't have the proper setup. Otherwise, I think they could have probably won that fight and maybe won the game. But
a man with some great experience, Tatu, the player of the game. Again, he just had such a high-impact Wukong performance. Very impressed. Every time we see this guy on screen, I mean, we like to talk from the LCS side about inspired and how much he was talking about Tatu last year. And now it's always a treat when we get to view him as North American audiences. So that's game one. Going to FURIA. Sentinels backs against the wall a little bit here as they get ready.
The chances of a 5-0.
It greatly hurts the chances of a sales prediction. We're going to send a short break before back for game two.